We had a really good fortress that went on, that we abandoned effectively a couple of weeks ago. Rock Hermit, I believe, is what the fortress is called. Yeah, Rock Hermit. And it survived many things. It survived a couple of incidents of were-panda attacks. It survived a massive infestation of were-elks. We were fine. And then our broker necromancer raised a human into an undead, which was also fine for a while. Actually, we had lots of undead running around because of our necromancer broker. But at some point, one of the human undead just snapped, went crazy, and beat 42 things to death while wielding a sock. And that was the end of our fortress. I don't know, these things happen, I guess. So tragic end over there. So what we have done is we've abandoned the fortress, but not the world and not the civilization. We are going to be setting up a new fortress not very far away. And one of the goals ultimately will be to send some squads over there and try to clear that bad boy out. And maybe whenever this fortress falls or we decide to tire of it, maybe we'll just retire from this one, reclaim the other one, do something like that going forward. I want to keep working on this world because I think it is an excellent story. Maybe we can find that sock with 42 kills again. I don't think it ever got named, maybe because it's not a proper weapon exactly. It never got a name despite having 42 kills. Just a really epic, legendary sock. Crusty socks are dangerous. Must have been the sock of a barbarian. Yeah, no, a sock! It's, yeah. I posted on Twitter, I posted on the Dwarf Fortress subreddit as well. Yeah, there's a sock with 42 kills in it. I don't know how this happens. Make sock figurines as trade goods this time. No, this time what we're gonna do is we're gonna be very, like, try hard, professional about this. I've done some math to find the most optimized trade goods to make with the highest value for the least amount of work. It's gonna be, no, I'm kidding. We're gonna make mugs, obviously. Obviously, we're making mugs. That is our trade good of choice. That is what we sell to the world. That is what all our dwarven civilizations always make. Obviously, we make mugs. Come on! That's the way it goes. Today I have set up DF hack actually. I configured I discovered the auto nick command and how to work with it, and so I'm going to have the DF hack automatically nickname our dwarves for us based on our Twitch subscriber list, which is good because later on when we start to get, like, you know, upwards of 100 dwarfs, it becomes really annoying to keep renaming them, and so we tend to have to call things and just be like, well, we'll just name notable dwarves or this or this. No, now every dwarf in our civilization will have a nickname, and it will automatically be taken from the Twitch subscriber list, which is going to be fantastic. I don't remember. I don't know if I set it on a timer or if I'm going to be running it manually. Okay, I do have it set to attempt to do it on a timer. We'll see how it works once we get in the game. Otherwise, I can just run autonick manually and see how it is. So yeah, don't hashtag name because we're not going to use hashtag name. Can we name them all Nick? Oh, I like that. Yeah, don't hashtag name. We're not going to be doing it that way. It's just going to come from the Twitch subscriber list, and it's going to save me so much trouble, like copy paste, because we get all this downtime when there's a migration wave. It's like, hold on, I got to spend 5 minutes renaming some dwarves over here. But instead, the migration wave comes, we run autonick, and then bam, they're all in there. It's going to be great. Name them all Gary. What about bribes? Well, that could, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. No, because the problem is, well, I'd have to get to a dwarf before it gets auto-renamed, because I'm not going to remove someone's nickname for the bribe. So, maybe there's other things. I don't know. I like bribes. Check whiskey and chocolate. Again? Oh, MJ, I'm terribly sorry. I must have talked over it at the intro. Oh, God. In loving memory of Brad the Gargoyle. MJ, I'm so disappointed. That run, because I'd had a couple of bad, like, recordings where I'm like, you know what, this was wrong, I shouldn't have recorded today, I wasn't in the right mood for it, but then the last one was, like, so good. The dungeon crawl, like, the last episode is like, okay, we're hitting our stride, I'm feeling good, I'm in the right mentality, and I've just deleted the save. So yeah, we'll be playing some more Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup soon. Weapon names for bribes. I don't know, we can't rename artifacts or anything like that, can we? I don't think so. Anyway, let's talk about the world that we've got over here. For those of you, so the last fortress is right over here. This little thing that looks a little bit like a U right here, that is the last fortress that was abandoned right over here. And what I used today, we are going to settle right up here in the mountains. So, I mean, we're not super close, but we're not super far either. By the way, I was taking a look through the Legends viewer over here. This is what I did, is I did a backup of the save and exported the Legends there just to make sure I wasn't going to mess anything up. So Rock Hermit was our last fort. I'm sorry this is so bright. It's blinding over here. This is our last fort. I was curious about a few things, and like, I was like, because we never got elves or anything like that. Turns out the only elves, there's only one elf civilization, and they only live up here somewhere, and that's it, on another land. So we're never going to get any elf visitors or anything like that. But what are you going to do? And I was able to use this to like explore the forts and figure out different things and stuff. But yeah, we are going to embark right over here next to the mountains. Technically, we are in the area of the Mountain of Winding. There's a brook nearby, but I'm not going to be settling on the brook. I'm going to be settling off over here. I almost always settle on brooks and rivers and stuff like that. And I'm like, no, I want to do different stuff today. I did use the enhanced Embark assistant from DF Hack to specifically find us iron, because for the last, I want to say like 4 forts that we've run, the only metal we've had access to is mostly just silver, occasionally a tiny microscopic amount of copper, and that's about it. I found it very disappointing that we weren't finding more, or we'd find tons of gold, which is great for like decorating things, but we weren't finding useful metals. And I was like, you know what? I really want to make sure we mix it up a little bit. I couldn't find a sock in the Legends viewer. Maybe I'll try it again. We'll see, but I could not find it last time. So this area right over here has iron. Dwarves should be good at prospecting. They should be able to figure out things like, hey, there's some rusty rocks over here. Maybe it's an iron-rich area. Dwarves should be able to do that. So I was like, you know what? We're going to do it. So for sure, we're going to have access to, we don't know how much. It might be a microscopic amount, but there's going to be some iron, some silver, some copper, some nickel. Nickel I don't think is very useful in Dwarf Fortress. I think it's fairly low value, and I don't think we make stainless steel or anything like that. But it's, you know, it's going to be interesting that it's there. But we are going to have access to iron, as well as silver and copper. Maybe we'll mint coins with silver and copper, or lots of silver statues or something of that nature. I don't know. And before the iron is down below lava level. Wow. Isn't nickel really hard? I mean, in real life, yeah. In real life, separation of nickel from the rest of the ore is only something that came about relatively recently, like 100 years ago-ish kind of thing. Because I think there's something about like the ore that nickel was in, like the Germanic name for it was like, you know, Devil's Rock or something like that, because it was fiendishly hard to like separate and was basically useless. There's something like that. Hey, cool man! Oh, I did like your little, your 0.8 liter whiskey barrel that you posted in Discord. It's so cute. It's so adorable. I'm giving you a choice: roast beef and cheese sandwich, or a toasted roast beef and cheese sandwich. I would say the toasting, yeah. Also can't wait for 25th of December because of a Christmas lunch. I'm so happy here. We celebrate the holidays twice, because we do a solstice celebration here in the household, and then COVID restrictions allowing, then there's going to be a Christmas celebration at my parents, who missed out on it last year. Hopefully it doesn't get canceled this year. They just introduced some new restrictions and things that we're gonna have to go through and figure out what the hell the deal is. But yeah, I'm really excited. Yeah, toast over not toast. Usually speaking, nickel useless. Are you sure you're not thinking of nickel back? I mean, in real life, nickel is very useful. I say that as someone who lives in Sudbury, the nickel capital of the world. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. I've got a location. I'm pretty happy. We're going to go with a 4x4 region this time. In the past, we've done a lot of 3x3s, but we'll do 4x4 over here. We'll get a little bit more space. I want this one to be like super real. Nickel's name is from German mining sprite that prevented copper ore that had nickel from actually. Yeah, that was it. Because this isn't like cupronickel, like the ore, like, you know, an ore both nickel and copper, and mostly they wanted the copper, and the nickel stuff was just, yeah, ruining it, or something like that. We're not gonna have that much of a problem over here. Looks like there's not gonna be much soil. Oh, there's not gonna be any trees either. Other vegetation thick, so we're not actually gonna have access to much wood. Oh shit, maybe this is not a good area. There are 2 biomes though. Hold on, maybe I don't want to settle here, because we've got no coal and no wood, so we're not actually going to be able to smelt anything until we get a caravan or anything like that. Let me pick a different area. I'm happy I spotted that. What about this spot over here? If we move up over there, there's going to be a light aquifer. Okay, I like this. We're in the woodlands, so there's gonna be some trees to chop, because we still, as far as I know, we still don't have any coal, but we've got trees, so we can do charcoaly things. That's gonna be okay. There's a light aquifer. When I created this world, I didn't actually disable the aquifer mechanics. There is a light aquifer over here, but we should be able to deal with that. Usually I avoid it, but we should be able to deal with it. Push comes to shove, if we fuck up completely, we can always use DF hack to turn off the aquifer, but that'll be okay. There's a bit of soil and clay and sand as well. I would love to do a glass industry, because we almost never do that. In fact, we've never done a glass industry, and it would be really nice to do. It turns out you can do windows and stuff in Dwarf Fortress that we've never done, so we might do that. Okay, I think we're going to do this. So we're actually going to be settling in the Momentous Swamps. The universe, by the way, our world is the Momentous Universe. This is the Momentous Swamps. Technically, our last fort was also in the Momentous Swamps. So, we're a little bit closer, in a sense, I guess. And I like those trees. It's Untamed Wilds, which is going to be fantastic. I like glass mugs. Can we make glass mugs? I mean, we might consider it. Anyway, I think we can embark over here. You light aquifer, we're gonna have to deal with it. Bright side of an aquifer, though, is you do get an unlimited supply of fresh water as needed. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab, I don't know, the Nebulatron start. I think it's got a decent config. We are gonna redo the professions dramatically, though, because we are going to be following the 7 pillars of Dwarven society. So I wanted to really think thematically. What's wrong with aquifer? So aquifers are tricky. The reason the reason you sometimes avoid them is when you want to dig down, right? You want to dig down to make your dwarven fortress, right? So you dig down, the aquifer's there, and your fortress floods with water. Or you dig a little, the hole fills with water, and you can't keep digging. You're like, what am I supposed to do? So heavy aquifers are very tricky to punch through. Light aquifers are going to be a fair bit easier, though. So we should be ultimately okay. But yes, so I wanted a theme. I really wanted to roleplay. One of the things I'm not going to be doing this time is I'm not going to be using auto labor or anything like that. We are going to be manually assigning labors through Dwarf Therapist. We're really going to get to know our dwarves a lot more, be a lot more personable. But I wanted an interesting way to try to organize them. And I basically spent all week playing Dwarf Fortress, trying to prepare, thinking of different ideas. And here's what I've settled on. I believe that in Dwarven society, 7 is considered to be a special number, a sacred number. We embark with 7 dwarves. Of course, there's a classic story, Snow White and the 7 dwarves, and I would have to imagine that there's, repeated instances in Dwarven history of the number 7 having a special significance. So I have decided that in our society, at least, the letters of notching, which is our civilization, same civilization as last time, that Dwarven society is arranged in 7 pillars. There are 7 castes for civilian dwarves. And all dwarves that belong to a caste will belong to one of these 7 positions. The 7 castes are going to be, so I've got creative names for them, but we are going to have people who work with stone, people who work with metals, the dwarves who are responsible for fort building, construction, things like that. We've got the people who work with wood, plants, flesh, and then finally, the final category, the 7th pillar, I'm going to be calling them the life minders. They're going to be the ones who are responsible for cooking, brewing, as well as doing medical work. Originally I was thinking, the medical work could actually go with the people who work with flesh and meat, and I tried different ways to balance it out, because I'm hoping that none of the categories gets too overloaded. Probably the people who work with stones will be fairly busy. But I think that's going to be okay. So those are the 7 pillars. There's going to be the stone knockers, the metal shapers, the fort builders, the woodwhackers, the plant tenders, the flesh renders, and the life minders. These 7 pillars will hold up a ceiling, which is the nobility, the administrators, but they cannot, they're sort of above and, overseeing everything, but they can't exist without the 7 pillars. And then finally, the 7 pillars rest on the firm foundation of Dwarven military, of the soldiers. And we are going to really lean into the caste idea where dwarves that are in the military, we're not going to sort of cycle them in and out of being an active squad versus an inactive squad, because it's going to be sort of the Spartan thing. War is going to be their profession. They're going to be professional soldiers and then just stick to it. And then technically there'll be a 10th group, which is going to be our peasants. Those are going to be dwarves that are not assigned to a caste yet. Maybe some of them will get picked up into one of the 7 civilian castes if we need more workers there. Or a lot of times when we're going to be creating our military squads, we're going to be drafting peasants. Peasants are going to be responsible for hauling around things. And we're going to be fairly strict with some of those. Now, within those categories, like we're going to start by by sort of assigning, you know, all the stone knockers are all gonna, you know, sort of have a certain number of labors. But as we get more members of there, they will subspecialize within themselves. But no, flesh renders aren't the soldiers. Flesh renders are going to be our hunters, butchers, tanners, leather workers. That's what they're going to be. So they're going to be responsible for generating. They'll also be doing animal training, things like that. So they're going to be responsible for every part of our industry that generates meat and leather goods. Yeah, the meat handlers. Flesh reindeers, the meat handlers. Now that just sounds dirty. That just sounds dirty. Let's not forget about the holy beekeepers. Yes, the beekeepers will also be under the flesh render caste. Who cooks? So the life minders were going to be the cooks, brewers, and medical dwarves. And theoretically, you know, in dwarven, they'd probably also do things like housekeeping and stuff like that, maybe. But you know, I mean, cleaning is a task, but mostly we're using the peasants for that. Do bees have flesh? Aren't they just fluff and stingers? Ah! Okay, so these 7 dwarves over here are each going to be assigned one of those roles. Now, I'm not going to... I wonder... Hold on. I wonder if I can run auto Nick at this stage. Let's see here. I don't know if it will run right now. Let me customize. Check the nickname. No, I don't think so. I think it'll have to wait until we're in. So we're not going to name these 7 dwarves yet. We'll name them once we get in the game, and we run the auto nick at that point. But we are going to go and assign each one of these to a pillar. So I do want to take a quick little look to see if these dwarves have any traits that might push you towards one way or another. Intuition, way with words, good sense position of his body, so that might be a good fighter. Patience, intellects. Okay, feels like this first dwarf might be quite good as kind of a leader type person. Now, we're not going to assign a real dedicated leader right now, but yeah, so I don't think this is really going to show anything up. Let's view you. Second dwarf over here, Rimtar. Good kinesthetic sense. I think that means you're more likely to make masterwork things. So, you know, you might be good as a creator. I don't know. You know, honestly, at this point, maybe we'll just assign them to the cast in order, and that'll be it. Is there a prepare carefully equivalent for allow us to start with making custom dwarves for each cast to start with? Well, I mean, that's kind of what we're doing here. So currently, this first dwarf's already assigned to mining. So let's just go ahead, and we're going to give you a profession. I'm going to use an underscore at the start of my professions. Is that what I decided on in Dwarf Therapist? Or a little dash, actually. Just because it'll make it a little easier for me to identify which dwarves have actually gotten one of my nicknames explicitly versus just being in there. So I'm just going to go down this list in order, and that's just the way the dwarves are going to get assigned. So first, we're going to have our Stone Knocker. So one representative of each caste, or each potentially guild in a sense, is going to be present in this Embark. That's the way our civilization is going to do things. We're just going to say, we have decided that this is a thing. We're going to get a Metal Shaper over here. Now, early on, the Metal Shapers, oops, I meant to put a little dash in there. Early on, the Metal Shaper's not really going to have a lot to do, so mostly they're going to be stuck doing some hauling until we get some peasant migrants in here. Customize, profession. So this one is going to be a fort builder, so they're going to have construction, deconstruction turned on. Architecture are going to be assigned. Probably what's going to happen, I think it was my fort builder actually that I had decided I was going to give them, you know what? I was going to give them the social skills because it helps to start with some of the social skills. So let's change a plan. I'm going to have the first dwarf, who we know is fairly potentially good at social skills. They'll be the fort builder. And then this one here will instead be the Stone Knocker. Hopefully they have some good traits for that. So Stone Knocker is going to be miners, they're going to be stone crafters, they're going to be masons. Next up is going to be my Wood Whacker. Customize profession, Plant Tender, which sort of looks like Plant Ender, and that both of them kind of works for me. Then the Flesh Render. Dwarves who rend flesh, but aren't soldiers. although they will be hunters. And then our final profession name, this will be our life minder, again, which will be given, life minders will be in charge of cooking, brewing, as well as medical stuff. So Lorben over here, who again will get nicknamed to one of our subscribers once we get into the game, they are going to be our doctors. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go and do this. I mean, early on, they will also be assigned to cooking and brewing. Maybe, tell you what, I'll give them like one notch of each. Technically, they went through Life Minder School and learned the basics, but what we really want to do with this one is we want to give him or her, I don't know, medical skills. I don't know if there's a way to reset these. I suppose if I'd gone prepare carefully, they wouldn't have been assigned anything. Mostly, I took one of the profiles so that we could, so that it would have better equipment, and we'll figure out what that equipment's going to be later on. So, diagnostician, we're going to give you, yeah, we'll make you competent, and then some wound dresser, suturer, and one notch each of surgeon and bone doctor. Oh, no, we don't have enough points for that. That's going to be okay. Most of the wounds and suture, because I feel that that's going to be a little bit more important early on. Medical stuff's hard to train, so I want to make sure to do that. Okay, so let's go up to Flesh Renderer. So same sort of thing. And yeah, again, I don't know if there was a way to just, like, immediately reset everything, which would be convenient. So the Flesh Render, again, long-term, this clan is responsible for leatherworking and everything like that. But the big thing we're going to do with this one at Embark is we're going to give him a bunch of ambusher skill as well as crossbow skill. And he's going to be set to hunt, especially with us being embarking. We know we've got a couple of whiskeys. I'm going to check that now. Especially with us embarking in Untamed Wildness, I think it's going to be very important for us to have an active hunter immediately to keep the animal population limited. Watch us just die almost immediately. We'll see. So we did get some whiskey and chocolate to start here. So we did have an exclusive Muppet who contributed with whiskey and chocolate a little bit ago, who said, "Did you realize that 6 out of 7 dwarves are not happy?" Happy's the name of one of the dwarves. Isn't that the one with the beard? Oh, no, that would be... Wait, hold on. They all have beards. I was going to say the one with the glasses, but that would be Doc, I think. And then Cool Man Santa came in as well. Thank you very much. Said, you can use the tiny whiskey barrel as a thumbnail for this Dwarf Fortress video. Oh, that's a good idea. Also, do you have any good suggestions for a first-time whiskey drinker? First time, I really like to recommend the Auchentoshan. I think it's really nice, mild whiskey that's easy to get started with. Oh, Banana Cabana, thank you as well. Hey Quill, Banana Claus is here with a corny joke. Why do elves like Christmas? Because baby Jesus was visited by the tree wise men. Also, Yule never gets an elf's favorite dinosaur, a tree Rex. I hope you weren't overwhelmed. Thanks, Banana. That's exactly, yeah, that's wonderful. Thank you so much. All right, our plant tender is next. I'll see. So I could have just assigned this one to some fighting. Because, you know, they had some of these stats perfectly for the Flesh Render already set up as part of the Embark, but that's okay. Interestingly enough, this Embark gives everyone one level of discipline. Maybe that, like, just helps them, like, stay under control or something. I don't know. So this one over here, we're definitely going to want a bunch of ranks in, I guess, Grower? That's the farming skill. We'll give you a little bit of Herbalist, Brew, Cook, but that's, you know, just a tiny little bit. We won't even spend all your points. It's going to be okay. All right, Wood Whacker over here is going to mostly be like really good in carpentry. We'll give you a couple of... Oh, I need to be able to pull some points out of something else. Yeah, again, this thing keeps giving everyone a point in discipline. Again, might turn out to be a brilliant idea, but we're not going to go with it. Let me remove this. And so this organization for the dwarves isn't necessarily the ideal for a starter fort because... of what kind of combos and skills you might want, but that's going to have to be okay. So you're going to get some wood cutting, you're going to get some carpentry skill, and that's probably all I'll spend over here, but it'll get you started. Our stone knocker, which was currently set up to be a farmer type, and a socializer. Now this is potentially going to be the most overworked dwarf overall. Normally I embark with a couple of picks and have at least, even if they're not skilled, I assign a couple of miners, but we're going to be going by a strict caste system over here. Therefore, we're only going to have one miner. Now, oftentimes I don't even bother assigning the mining skill because you do raise it fairly quickly and fairly easily. But because we're only going to have one dwarf doing the mining, that dwarf has to start being as quick at mining as possible. We're going to give you some ranks in masonry as well. And you will do some engraving. Well, that'll be part of the task overall, stone carving, all those things. But maybe what I'll do is I'll just max out your mining and masonry so that that'll be useful. Now, my metal shaper over here, we really don't need you to have any skill in the metal industry early on, because we're not really going to have one. So the metal shaper is actually going to be responsible here for, he's going to be mostly a hauler at first. We could give him some of the social skills as well. You know, we could make him like sort of our organizer, record keeper, so we could have him be the manager, bookkeeper early on. That might be fine. And then the fort builder. So this is sort of building design, construction. Fort builders are also going to be people who are mechanics, trap layers, siege engineers. I don't know if this one really needs any skills right now. So that we could just have negotiator, appraiser, judge of intent, maybe a little this, some social skills, and this guy could be our broker early on. And I think that might be a pretty good idea. Okay, so let's go over to our items over here. So, interesting, we're shipping with a steel anvil. An iron anvil is cheaper. Is there a search here? Oh, I guess it's add is what we do. Hold on, let me remove the iron anvil. Hit new. And go iron anvil, which is a fraction of the price. Okay, we do have a crossbow, which is great. A quiver, a couple of quivers. Bolts, perfect. Okay, so our hunter's going to be able to hunt right away. We have 2 picks. I'm going to still go with 2 picks because we're going to, when we get our first migrant wave, we're definitely going to want to draft a second miner right away, and that will be available immediately, which is going to be important. The other thing I wanted is I wanted some dogs with us. I want some dags. You like dags? You like dags? So, oh, we have 1 dog. Do we? Doesn't it show up in this list? No, okay, right. The list on the right is just what it shows up, right. Okay, we got 2 female cats, 1 male cat, 2 female dogs, 1 male dog. Okay, so we're going to be breeding our war dogs, which is going to be great. We'll have our kitties to keep things under control. I think I might just bring some more seeds. Honestly, I don't necessarily know if I even care about the cave wheat and sweet pods, but some. Mostly what I want is, because we never have enough of a clothing industry early on, I'm going to do that. I'm also going to add in some dimple cups because we don't currently have those in there. There we go. So our clothing and dyeing industry is going to be okay. Our wargs, people, I don't think we can have wargs. I don't remember. What else? Is there any? We do have quite a few points. What I could do is I could get a second iron anvil just ready to go. I'm actually just wondering about more booze, more food. I don't think there's anything else we're missing. Oh, we could bring some birds. Actually, this Embark comes with chickens. So we're going to be, and geese. Oh no, sorry, I'm misreading. I was looking at the price, not the number. Let's, or what about ducks? Oh, there we go, turkeys. Turkeys are bringing, here we go. So that's going to be fine. We've got 6 turkey hens and 1 turkey gobbler. That's going to be okay. Needs a moose. Surprised that wasn't Fageva that said that. I think we're just going to bring more food and more booze. More yak meat, wine, rum for Cool Man, ale, and then a crap ton of beer. There you go. That way we actually can delay getting our brewing industry going as long as possible, which is going to be useful. How about bringing pig for leather and meat that can be inside? Well, that's a good idea. Do they not need to graze, pigs? So we're going to bring a couple of sows and 1 boar. Oh, I don't have enough for that. Oh, they're very expensive. We probably make do with less meat. 51, so I need not much more. There we go, 52. So we'll get a second sow. Okay, 1 boar, 2 sows. Great. Pigs do not graze. Excellent. Delay our brewing industry as long as possible. Actual dwarf sacrilege. But the thing is, we're bringing lots of booze with us. It's not that we're going to be short on booze. Okay. So we've got that sorted. What I'm going to do is I'm going to save this. In case something goes bad, we don't have to spend like 20 minutes doing this. So this is going to be our 7 pillars save. Done. All right. Time to embark. More booze than water? Well, we didn't bring any water at all, so yeah. Hen plus rooster. We have geese instead of hens. I guess I could have brought 1 more seed. Oh well, it's gonna be fine. Oh, I forgot to rename our thing. Oh well, that's gonna be okay. What do we get? Raise Blockades is gonna be the name of our fort. I'm kind of okay with that, actually. You have arrived! After a journey from the mountain homes into the forbidding wilderness beyond, your harsh trek has finally ended. Your party of 7, that magical number, is to make an outpost for the glory of all Lolo Lisat. There are almost no supplies left, but with stout labor comes sustenance, whether by bolt, plow, or hook. Provide for your dwarves. You are expecting a supply caravan just before winter entombs you, but it is spring now. I'm actually not sure if that's accurate. Enough time to delve, secure lodgings, ere the dingo men get hungry. Dingo men ate my babies. A new chapter of Dwarven history begins here at this place. Edi Mebtob, or Raise Blockade. Strike the earth. Oh, initial autosave. I'm like, why is it hanging? I have it in the options that it makes a save immediately upon embark. Dingo men. Pigs eat pretty much the same as people. Really inefficient way of producing nutrition, unless you really like bacon and hate eating vegetables. I don't see the problem, grumpy oldie. Hey, Technofire, thanks for the sub. That's 69 FPS, nice. Yeah, so it's just gonna do the autosave here. Just slow, but it's gonna be okay. Mike, peaking and saturating like crazy. Why is that? Let me turn down the compressor maybe. And then let me turn down my gain a little bit. And we'll see how that compares. Because honestly, I haven't been quite as happy with some of it lately. So let me know if that's a little bit better or not. Especially when I get excited and talk like this. And it's definitely still redlining, so I don't know. And I'll make some other adjustments later on. So this is a new tile set. This is the Vertlinger tile set, which the problem is on the surface is always very, the sound is better. Oh, good. Is always very busy. Even if you're in ASCII, it's like just a slew of periods and commas and semicolons and things like that. Just very noisy. But I did post on Discord. We tried out some new tile sets to mix it up. The tile sets I was using until now, Space Fox, is really clean and sort of minimalistic. It made it, like, I thought about using ASCII, but it wouldn't, you know, for viewers, it was long established that we would prefer not to have pure ASCII. So I was using that Space Fox because it is very clean and makes everything pop really, really nicely. But, you know, it was very plain. So I was deciding to start other ones. This Vetlinger, once we get down, we dig down, we start smoothing. Oh, I'm so happy with this. Which one is this then? Rhino, it's almost like I might have included it in the what game. Just saying. It is a 32 pixel one as opposed to a 16 pixel one as well, so there's a few more details. Okay, so here's where we have landed with our wagon. So we've got a little bit of elevation going up here. Let's take a look at the peak. So flat there. I mean, certainly we're not mountains, because we know we didn't there. We're mostly in swampy territory, but we've got a bit of a hillside going on. We've got a couple of ponds on the surface over there, a few more ponds down at the bottom. Probably we won't concern ourselves with the pond. Technically, the flesh renders are responsible for hunting, but we might not worry about that too much. We shall see. Interesting, there was an area completely barren of trees over here, because we do have a couple of different biomes, and here as well, actually. Oh, no, there's trees. Was I just on the wrong elevation? Oh, no, there's still trees there. Okay, yeah, I was just getting confused because of elevation stuff. So there are trees everywhere. Let's take a look at what the wall looks like over here. So we've got loam And theoretically, there should be sand at this start as well. Or maybe there was sand at the other one. I don't know if there's sand over here. Hopefully there is, so we can do a bit of a glass industry, but we shall see. Now, one of the things I want to do this time is I want to dig quite deep. Oh, first thing I want to do is I want to run auto-nick. So let's see who our dwarves are. We've got Detroxification, our stone knocker, Alex Candy, our woodwalker, Sarge Dragonis, our flesh render, Erica Hoff, our plant tender, Silent Shock, our metal shaper, Dunvi is our fort builder, and Monk Loki is our life minder currently. Excellent, we'll have a bunch more of that. Okay, oh, sorry, I want to establish, where are we now, Z level? So we're on 143 is where we spawned. The lowest surface Z level is 141. And actually, I meant to have a notepad. There's my notepad. Because I just want to keep some notes over here. I just realized I have to grab a pen. 1 second. I want to do this right. There. I have acquired many different writing instruments. So, surface is at 141. So I want to go a fair bit lower than this. Let's call it an even 130 for our grand entrance hall. Okay? What I want to do is one thing I want to do this time is I want to make sure I don't want to have our depot on the surface because it takes way too long for our dwarves to bring our crafts up there. I want our depot to be inside of a fort a little bit more proper. And I was thinking what I would do is build a grand entrance hall. Perhaps a grand entrance hall that has 7 pillars in it. Just saying. And I want to have a ramp that comes down so that the caravans can bring their wagons into the grand entrance hall, see the glory of our mountain home here, and appreciate that properly and do the trade there. Certain advantages to doing certain rampy things as well, but we'll also have like a secondary staircase for our dwarves to reach the surface more easily, because one of the things I want to do with the hall is I do want to set up a strong defensive structure around it. But let's say, so at 130 is going to be the entrance hall. So, entrance hall is cosmetic, it doesn't serve a functional purpose in a sense. And so early on in the fortress days, it might prove, it'd be sort of silly to do that while we're also trying to get set up. Except, what we're going to do is we're going to use this entrance hall as the first initial place for our starter workshops and stockpiles and things like that. So it will just be a practical hall to start off with. And what it's going to do, it's going to avoid me from doing the thing where, I'm just going to build a temporary fortress for a bit before we start doing the new one. And then that ends up being our permanent fortress. Well, here, if I'm just using that entrance hall as the temporary setup, eventually it's got to get cleared out. We'll assume the aquifer's on level 3. Well, the aquifer is probably like right at the surface, so we're going to have to deal with that pretty quickly. There might be another DF hack command for this, but there is a dig a space. This is your exploration dig tool that you can use. Like when we're looking for veins and I make all those like little tunnel drawings and things like that to try to hit them. This tool can help you like pre-designate some patterns that make it to find veins. Is what it saves trouble for. But if you punch in cross, instead of doing a dig exploration, what it's going to do, it's just going to put a cross in the middle of the map over here. So we know this is the dead center of our Embark area, which is very convenient. Very convenient. So we're not going to use the cross trait for what it is, but it's going to tell us where the middle of things are. So I think the middle of the map is actually right at the intersection of this, but we're going to treat one of these 4 squares as sort of the middle from our point of view for organizing things. So let me go and say this here. Oops, didn't take my click. Let's treat that point there as the middle of our map. And then one of the advantages to it is that, we can use this as sort of imagine the hallway. It's got to be at least 3 tiles wide that our caravan will come down, and then enter into things over here. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down a tick. Hang on, why did it not? Oh, because I was holding shift. So, oops. That's a square opening hall. I don't want square, that's for sure. Now, what's going to happen is I'm going to dig this out level right now, but later on, this is not going to be the actual floor of our grand entrance hall. Instead, later on, I'm going to come back after we're done, you know, with this temporary thing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to channel all this out. So we'll get... Oh, it's on the wrong thing. I'm going to channel all this and this and the rest of it out, except for this. So what's going to actually happen, so our grand hall is going to be at least 2 Z levels high. The caravan's going to come in on sort of like a bridge, right? Elevated, and they'll be able to look down on the sides at all the glory, and then finally ramp down to the final depot. Mwah! Be careful, every dimension must be a multiple of 7. That might be a little tricky. But what I do want to do is I do want to have 7 pillars in here. Maybe have them be 3 by 3 pillars. The Hall of 7 Pillars. I suppose if it was a little wider, we'd be able to shove some workshops on the outside over here. So that's what I'm going to do. I don't think this tile set has like diagonal walls, which is a bit of a shame, but it's going to be okay. We could make it a little bit more interesting. Like, obviously, early on, the look doesn't matter, but it's going to set up certain things. And then what's going to happen then is this over here is going to lead into a little bit more of the rest of the fort in some fashion, into the fort proper. In fact, there'll probably be like kind of a double locked, maybe airlock over here, something like that as well. Because one of the other things I imagine is when we get migration waves, because we know there's a threat of both werepandas and were-elks out there, we're going to use this as the temporary quarantine for new migrants until a full moon has passed, to establish that no migrants are were creatures. That's going to be the idea. Okay, so having done that, I'm going to mine this a little bit longer. Like, it is going to be a long route to come in, but the reason is later on what I want to do is maybe, well, not this big, but have like a little garrison area potentially flanking this with bowmen to shoot people coming through. Unless we do that in the actual Great Hall itself in some fashion. I don't know. But yeah, we might line it that way. Oh, the other thing I'm imagining is later on, I think what actually I'm going to do is over here, this is also potentially going to be dug to be 2 Z levels deep. And then I'm going to have a bridge that passes over it where we actually have archers. So if anything is streaming down under this level, archers from above are going to be shooting down on invaders that might be trying to get into the fort. So I want to make sure to leave some room above and below Z level 130 to allow for that kind of structure. But other than that, what we want to do is get some ramps coming down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up a level, plan that route. I'm going to go up another level, do this, up another level, do this. Then I want to make a little bit of a corner here. Then I want to go up a level. Could do a little macro here, but we don't have very far to go, I think. I hope. Maybe we should record a macro. Record. No. Up, here, up. Stop recording. Play. Play. There we go. Play. So, right here is the entrance to the base. I don't think I like that too much. It's too close to an edge. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cancel the designation to here. Go down a level. Bring this further this way. There we go. So this is oh shit, was I in the wrong mode? Yes, I was. Of course I was. Forgot the macro wasn't actually set to enable channeling. There we go. Play, 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 play. Okay. So right over here is going to be the ramp-based entrance to our base. And I'm definitely going to want to build a structure around this. There's a little bit of elevation near it, but not too much, and we could dig away from it just to give us proper space. I'm going to be very happy about that. Is that a Doctor Who reference? If there was a Doctor Who reference, it wasn't intentional. Although unintentional Doctor Who references have definitely happened in the past. Okay. So, let me set a quick hotkey to F8 over here. Just to not confuse, because I want to keep the F1 for this old area. Alright, but then we're going to start digging. I got some trees designated to be chopped, which is going to be okay. I think we're ready to unpause. Now, we will hit an aquifer pretty quickly. The aquifer may not cover the entire map. We'll see. We're going to wait. It's going to pause and give us a damp stone designation warning. Oh, these tree roots that we're digging through, I think. Yeah, I think so. Oh, we may have dodged the aquifer. Interesting. I mean, we would have hit it by now, because it would be closer to the surface. Is there a double ramp thing going on here? Oh, I fucked up. Well, it's fine. It's just going to look stupid. It's not a problem in any way whatsoever. We can just... I mean, because the ramp doesn't actually slow it down. It would just get a little dip. You come down, you dip, and come right back up, and you're here. We can put a floor in here later on, just so it doesn't look stupid anymore. But it's not actually an issue. I'm slightly annoyed on principle. Hold on, we got to restart the whole thing. We're 48 minutes into the stream, we're just going to restart. Out of curiosity, I want to know where the aquifer was. So I'm just going to hit Shift F8 for a second, which I've got bound to toggle the map. Was it? Maybe it was the other map that had the aquifer, because I think we'd be able to see we get blinking. It must have been the other start that had it. Maybe over here by the water? No, no damp stone. Weird. Alright. I was all prepared to deal with it. A light aquifer is not too hard to deal with because it, it goes really slowly and all you have to do, I think, is smooth. It was this map that had it. Oh, I have to be in mining mode. Hang on. Hit D. There's damp stone over. Well, that's not, that's just the stone from under the waterways.
It's whiskey and chocolate.
Seems okay. I don't know. Maybe it is deeper? Could it be a deep aquifer? Well, we'll find out. Limonite! I guess that's the source of our iron, is limonite. Whiskey and chocolate. Who dat? Voxelhound! Hey, thank you very much, Voxelhound. Voxelhound in RimWorld survives entire run, basically carries the colony with incredible crafting and cooking skills. Voxelhound Dwarf Fortress, named and drafted into the armor, becomes Dwarven Schnitzel 5 minutes later thanks to a troll. It's the way it goes sometimes. But this time we were going to have access to iron, so hopefully we are going to get much, much, much better durability for our dwarves. Now, what I want to do next to this ramp is I do want to plan on having a stairway that kind of goes down so that our dwarves can get down a lot faster. Maybe a little further over here so we're not in there. Okay, this actually works out great for me. So get a stairway over this way that only our dwarves will have access to, like, because we want them to go down faster. Caravans won't be able to use it because it's going to be, it's not going to be sloped. The other thing we're going to do with the stairway is we're going to surround it with traps. Traps block caravans. Oh, I didn't actually draw it the whole way, did I? Am I in up-down mode? I am in up-down mode. How come I can't see it on the surface? Oh, because on the surface I just have to do the downstairs. There we go. Although what I could do, so I can't mine up downstairs over here, but I can construct up downstairs because I want these to go up into an archer tower. Unless I do it separately. Tell you what, let's just mine the up downstairs for now, because we can always override it later, or mine the downstairs. What I mean. Okay. Although our miner is currently down there. Let me check. The labors might not be set properly. Actually, they're not set properly because I never assigned the roles over here. So we gave them nicknames, but the important thing to do now is to make sure that people only do the role they've been assigned to. I've set up these professions. We're going to look at what they are in a second here. Fort builders, our life minder, our metal shaper, our flesh render, because we have oops, sorry, this is our plant tender. Because we have 2 dwarves mining right now, which is obviously bad. Why would I have 2 copies of this? Oh, because I ended up renaming it because this one had a capitalization, which I don't want. Oh, the game's confused. Maybe a reload. I don't know. Stone knocker. Here, let me clear custom profession. Delete the flesh render with a capital R. There we go, good. And then you are going to be reset to a flesh render. I don't know which names got set up and which didn't. I guess the ones with hauling didn't get set up because none of these custom professions have any hauling assigned to them, because the idea is peasants are going to be responsible for that. But right now we don't have any peasants, so clearly these guys are going to have to do it. Okay. Imagine being a dwarf who specializes in wood. Well, I mean, he specializes in chopping down trees, operating the wood-burning furnace. You know, it's pretty good. And beds can only be made out of woods. And buckets and barrels, conceptually, I never had a problem being made out of wood over there. All right, so, no, this fort builder didn't actually get it properly, did you? No, neither did the flesh render? Hold on, I'm confused now. Oh, hold on a sec. Is fucking auto labor on? That's what's going on. They keeps resetting my bullshit. Let's try one more time. Sorry for the time this is taking. Fort builder. Life minder. Metal shaper. Tender. Stone knocker. Woodwhacker. There we go. Okay. A couple of these casts do have a little bit of hauling put in, or some of these greater things like furniture hauling, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to just select all the dwarves. And annoyingly, it's toggle, not enable, which I think is stupid, but I'm going to enable hauling for all of our dwarves right now, because we don't have any peasants, so they're going to have to deal with it themselves. Commit changes. Okay. So yeah, you can see, for example, the flesh render over here has all the animal-related tasks. Milling should not be on for the flesh render. What the fuck? I had all this set up. Milking, yes. Milling, no. butchery, tanning, leatherworking, bone carving, fishing, although I'm going to turn off those tasks. I don't actually want them spending time doing that. Shearing, spinning, not bookkeeping. Oh, beekeeping. Beekeeping and wax working is all part of the flesh renders, for example. The fort builders, you can see here, they get mechanics, architecture, siege engineering, siege operating, and doing that. Actually, my stone knockers, I am going to go and turn off hauling, because they should just be busy mining. It's going to fill up all their time. The others can be doing this. In fact, really a few of these are going to get their hauling turned off pretty damn fast, because they're going to be busy doing non-hauly things. And I think the metal shaper and the life minder are going to be the ones who are doing our primary hauling for a while. But we'll see about that later on. What kind of rendering software does the flesh renders use? Ha ha! We got some whiskey and chocolate that came in during that whole mess. We got MJ. Thank you very much, MJ. Says, if we make minecarts out of iron, does that mean we'll have Ferris wheels? And no one hears what he appears. Thank you as well. Here's some lava whiskey and ore. Oh, here's for some lava whiskey and ore bearing rock. What else? Because what else does a dwarf need? I don't know, plump helmets? Something like that. All right, let's unpause again here. Struck Limonite. So if you take a look at their jobs, a bunch of them have no jobs right now. And like, yeah, okay, that's pretty legit. What we're gonna do is I'm going to reassign some tree chopping, because first of all, our wood whacker should definitely be doing some tree chopping. There we go, fell trees. And then we're gonna set up some construction, which will keep a few more of these busy. This is super inefficient right now because we have so many idle dwarves. It would be much better to at the very least have a second frickin' dwarf on mining. Really fingers crossed for a migration wave. Yeah, it's late summer over here. That's what I expected. One of the issues, it said spring because that's the default Embark text, but we are starting 2 weeks after we abandoned the last fortress. That's the way the mechanics work. What's going to be annoying about this is we're going to get a dwarven caravan in like a few days, and we're going to have anything to trade for, and we're going to have to wait for ages before the next caravan comes, which is going to be pretty annoying. Now, obviously, we're going to be wanting to construct things out of stone. But right now we got some wood, and we're gonna have some idle wood whackers over here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a little wooden tower around our entrance area. So I'm gonna build, construct wall. I am gonna turn on planning mode for this, which is gonna just make it easy. They'll grab whatever materials. I could do some global settings here. Ultimately, I'm going to be using the auto planning mode a lot, so I don't have to manually pick materials. But what's going to happen in the long run is this is going to be filtered to only allow use of blocks. And in fact, what we'll probably do then is we're going to tune our block production to maybe only be producing blocks of some type of rock that is predominant in our fort, so that we'll get some nice consistency. But the upshot of doing this is I can build our walls much, much, much faster and build our first little sort of tower over here that's just going to cover our entrance area. And it's going to be one tower. We are going to be sort of subdividing this later to protect the stairway separately from our ramp entrance. But right now, I'll do this, and then we'll just leave a little triple opening right over here to allow a caravan to come in. And well, actually it's going to be flowing the opposite direction. Never mind. So let's cancel those three. Build, construct wall. And yeah, not having to pick materials and stuff. And if for some reason you don't have enough material, especially when we filter it down to blocks later on, it'll still let us place it, and then as the blocks get produced, it'll do that. We'll have maybe a drawbridge entrance over here, and then yeah, we'll have a separate internal wall over here with some doors and things like that for our dwarves. But right now we'll do this. We'll worry about the bridge later on, and that'll keep a few more people busy, because right now everyone's got construction turned on. Technically, that's a job for fort builders later on, but right now we're just imagining that they're just helping carry things on. It's still the fort builder that's making all the real decisions. I just realized I never bookmarked my my entrance hall over here, so I want to do that now. HF2Z, there we go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to dismantle the wagon. We're going to have to get a new meeting spot up pretty soon for when we get some migrants. The other thing, the wagon can be a bit of a can be a magnet for attackers that will come over and try to destroy the wagon. But for now, we're going to drop that. And what I'm what I'm going to do, having done that now, is I'm going to set this place here to my F1 hotkey. So F1, F2 is going to be great. We're going to have to pasture our animals. I'm going to want them in, ultimately later on, I think they can graze when we hit a cavern level. Here, it's already fall. We're getting our first autosave, so again, it's going to be very fast here. We are going to get a roof, because this is actually going to be a multi-level little defensive tower. We're going to floor/roof this, and on the second level have some arrow slits and things like that for our dwarves to fight and defend this location that way. I guess, does it matter if I put a roof on top of my animal pen?